Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the first rendition of the Texas Hockey Podcast brought to you by Fanatics View. My name is Trevor Neal, and I'm with my co-host, Travis Tyler. How are you doing this evening, Travis?
Hey, Trevor, I'm doing pretty good.
Pretty
Stars
good.
with a win here.
Yes, and the most interesting takeaway that I'm going to take from tonight, there's a little bit of fun trivia for you and the rest of Stars fans that I'm going to assume are having a very good evening tonight. Did you know that Mikko Rantanen is a Dallas Star?
Yeah, that's
Yes.
we found out tonight actually, but
Yeah. Did you know that he's a Dallas Star for the next 8 years after this season?
that's pretty good to know. I think they're going to be pretty happy with that.
We're having a good evening here in the Lone Star State. The Dallas Stars just concluded their round 2 game 1 game against the Winnipeg Jets. They won that game 3-2. It was.
Yes.
Blanking 3-2. Thank you. Yes, it's been a long night for this. Really important 1-0 series lead, but I kind of wanted to dial it back to the first round series we had against the Colorado Avalanche, which is nothing but what I would call a war between those two teams. Comes out in 7 games. I was fortunate enough to have a ticket to Game 7. That's turned into my little annual tradition. I love to be a fan for the Game 7s. But I think the main thing I kind of want to take away from that first round series is Mikko Rantanen really took over in the end of that series. And I think especially in game 6 and 7, he really said, I am a Dallas Star, and has cemented himself in Dallas Star legend for what he's done. Did you want to comment more on that? I mean, just a fantastic end of the series for him.
Yeah, it was crazy. I mean, he took over. He had 11 points the last 3 games. Nobody does that. I mean, I was in the building for Game 7 as well, and when McKinnon scored that second goal, I think a lot of people thought it was over, and Rantanen just said, "You know what? It's not over. I'm gonna put this on my back, and I'm gonna do what they brought me here to do."
Yeah, you could feel. I actually brought a friend, and it was his first time ever at a hockey game. So Game 7 in Dallas is a great experience for that. You could feel, and talking to him, you could feel the energy get sucked out of the building when McKinnon scored in Game 7.
Mm-hmm.
And the energy was just kind of not there at all. And then Mikko Rantanen put the Stars on his back. And that has very obviously continued into tonight's game. He had a natural hat trick in the second period. He is the third NHL player ever to have back-to-back hat tricks in the playoffs, and the first Dallas Star to ever do it. And the first player in NHL history to have 2 3-goal periods in the same playoff. What we are seeing from Rantanen is something absolutely historic.
Yeah. I think there's not much you can draw back on from like the past playoff series to really think about like what really compare to what he's done. I mean, as a Red Wings fan growing up, that I remember Johan Franzen going off for 9 goals again in a 4-game series against Colorado with 2 hat tricks, and then almost missing the entire Dallas series after that, but scoring in the only game that he played in, and just going on a 13-goal tear to the Stanley Cup. But this is something that's even more crazy, especially because Rantanen is where the tier 1 players of truly elite players of the Dallas Stars, where if you're making a list, that's where it starts. Whereas Franzen was probably in that B group for Detroit.
Yeah. As much as we love Johan Franzen, I'm not putting him on the tier 1 of that era of Red Wings. But I kind of wanted to break down the game just a little bit. What I was kind of looking for. Oh, let's touch on the injuries most importantly. So the Stars got Jason Robertson back in the lineup. He got hurt in game 82, which was an absolute heartbreak for Stars fans because this was looking like the year that they were going to make their deep playoff run. Gets hurt in game 82, and we're down Miro as well. Both missed the entirety of the first round, but we got Robertson back in the lineup. Personally, I didn't notice him that much. I wasn't expecting Robertson to have a great game. He looked like a guy who hadn't played in 2 weeks.
Yeah. I looked up the box score. He had 1 shot.
And I don't remember that shot.
Yeah.
No.
And he I mean, he's playing down on the third line, probably load management type of deal there with the injury coming back on, you know.
I think Pete gave him an easier night just to kind of transition him into the lineup. This was not going to be an easy series, no matter what. So we are also down Miro Heiskanen, our number one defenseman at the time, which is a weird parallel to the Winnipeg Jets, who just got Mark Scheifele back in the lineup tonight. That kind of matches Robertson, and Josh Morrissey comes out of the lineup tonight. So it was kind of like even playing ground. A big note that I was looking for going into this, Hellebuck got pulled in 3 of 7 games against St. Louis. So I was like, guys, let's pucks on net early.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get this guy. He's not feeling like Connor Hellebuck. So let's take advantage of that. And I think right out of the gate, the Stars look like, oh, this is going to be a fun series. That first 10 minutes or so was just a Stars onslaught, dominating the game. It started 10-0 shot attempts through the first 4.5 minutes. Nothing really came of it. And they really hung on really well through it. Kind of balanced itself back, kind of came back at that 5 to 10 minute range, and the game kind of really took a backseat through the first. Would you kind of go on that as well?
Yeah, I think they talked about getting those shots after practice the other day. They talked about getting shots and getting the puck to the net, and they did that at the start. And then after that, pretty much going into the second period, they were outshot, I think, 17-5 at one point. So, they did the job early, but they kind of got caught in a part where they needed to fight back, and they ended up fighting back once Winnipeg got back scoring and putting pucks on the net themselves. Yeah.
Yeah, Nino Niederreiter kind of opens the scoring 3:30 into the second period, yes, with just a backhand shot that just kind of sneaks under Ottinger, gets through. At first, I was like, I kind of want that one from Jake. It's usually something that I wouldn't say we've seen elite the series against Calgary, Jake Ottinger, in these playoffs, but he's been a very solid goalie. But that's a hard shot for a goalie to read, kind of coming down. He pulls a backhand. Nino couldn't have placed that shot any better. Yeah. So that sucks, giving up the ever important first goal. But of course, we're going to dial back to him, and you're going to hear his name a lot as we get through this series. Mikko Rantanen, just like with the McKinnon goal on Saturday, decides, I'm not losing. The Dallas Rantanens, I saw them referred to as this evening.
Get on board with
the first goal, that was the one that he was kind of laying on the ice and just kind of used his moose arms, is what they keep referring to it on the broadcast as. Just kind of reaches through a defenseman kind of after a small scramble in front of the net, ties the game up. I was watching the game with my dad, and we were just looking at each other going, oh my, he scored another goal. That's crazy. Little did we know he's going to score 2 more in the next 10 minutes. It was wild. Not long after, it looks like it was a 6-minute gap before he scores yet another one. This was the one assisted by Thomas Harley. At first, it just kind of looked like that was a loose puck thrown on net. I thought it was just kind of a seeing eyes shot from Thomas Harley. Tips it, kind of goes top corner. Rantanen's again. Absolutely wild, and such a beautiful comeback from the Stars.
Yeah, I mean, I texted you after a couple of those goals saying there's been some really weird goals in this game. I mean, it was all getting shots on net. I mean, that Niederreiter goal, I thought he was just dumping the puck on the net and didn't expect the puck to go in, and then it finds the top shelf and goes in. And then with Rantanen, I mean, he's laying on the ground battling. There was just the fact that he scored had just probably the same odds of Hellebuck finding that puck and stopping it. And then the other ones that he scored. The first one he tips in, the second one he tips in off the Harley shot, like you mentioned, and then that third shot goes off the defender's leg and into the net. I mean,
it was like
get any better bounces.
What was the game 6 goal where I forget who tried to clear the puck It ended up going off someone and into the net, ended up being the game winner in Game 6 last series. It felt like that goal would have been very fitting tonight. Kind of a weird bounce kind of game, which I think is kind of typical from Game 1 of a series. Both teams are going to kind of feel each other out. This was a pretty good regular season matchup. I'm pretty sure Winnipeg did significantly better than Dallas in their head-to-head, but they play each other quite well. So I was expecting this kind of defensive chess match. And the Stars, I think, were the much better team through it all tonight.
Yeah, and that's something I was looking for. Like during the regular season, the Stars didn't prove to me that they could win the series against Winnipeg. Tonight, they kind of proved that. Like you mentioned, you felt like Winnipeg dominated that series during the regular season. They won 3 of the 4 matchups and outscored the Stars 15-5 in those games. So that's
it was not a good outlook for the Stars.
Right. It's a pretty different outlook compared to what we were seeing in the regular season. I thought both goalies were really good tonight, but it's just the bounces when it comes to the playoff hockey, the way the puck bounces and the way the puck rolls and slides and whatever you want to call it, that's what ends up winning series.
Yeah, I think it's safe to say with the goaltending play we saw, Team USA from the Four Nations starting goalie and backup goalie. I don't know if you saw that Winnipeg fans were chanting USA backup at Ottinger throughout the game tonight, which was a very creative chant. I'll give them so much credit for that. And something that I kind of want to touch on, they went into Winnipeg, which I think is one of the hardest buildings in the entire league to win in, and look like the better team. They were unfazed by that very hostile environment. It's the smallest building in the NHL, but it probably is the loudest, except maybe Montreal, and some bias is going to show. I'd say Dallas is up there as well. But such a hostile environment, the Stars went in and kind of showed that, hey, the Stars might be the team to come out of this series.
Yeah. I felt like whoever's going to have the upper hand in this series was the team that could steal a road game first, because Winnipeg is a very difficult place to play. Dallas is a very difficult place to play. And the Jets didn't lose a home game in their previous series. So
they also didn't win on the road.
Yeah.
They also did not win on the road. That was a weird series.
Exactly. So that goes hand in hand with putting Dallas out there as a possible win in the series. I mean, they have the home ice advantage now. They have it, they lost that because of the seeding, but they've had that in most playoff series over the past couple of years, and now they can just go back to using the American Airlines Center for what it's best known for, I guess.
Yeah, and I kind of talked about a main talking point going into this Winnipeg series was the confidence of Connor Hellebuyck, and I think we learned tonight that we cannot think about that. You just throw pucks on. It's still Connor Hellebuyck in net.
Yeah.
He had a shaky round 1. I really think he got dialed in and responded well to that tonight. I wouldn't say he was absolutely fantastic, but you got 3 past them. You can't be mad at that. So absolutely great. But if we're going to talk about things that we really want to improve upon, we stole that road win. One thing I think the Stars need to get dialed in as the series continues on is their discipline is terrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely terrible. And we were talking during the game. It's not just penalties. It's stupid penalties.
Yeah.
It is not just that. It's stupid penalties at the worst times. Like, it's just, you're gaining some momentum, and Jamie Benn is doing some stupid stuff in the neutral zone again. I think a lot of the Stars fan base kind of has a bit of a weird relationship towards Jamie. He's not the most publicly facing captain of them all. I think his captaincy comes from inside the locker room. And, you've been in that locker room. I've been in that locker room before. He is not a media type of captain whatsoever.
No, he's not.
No, he's not a captain to the fans whatsoever. But faith be assured, Stars fans, he is still the leader of that team 1,000%. But what I would like to see the leader do is not take that penalty that was just completely unnecessary. If you missed the game, I believe it was called a hold. Just kind of grabs the guy and skates with him half the distance of the ice, completely away from the play, unencouraged. But he held him for such a long time, the ref couldn't ignore it.
Yeah.
And if we're gonna go be, you get through this series, you probably have you have either Edmonton or Vegas next series. It just gets harder from here, and we need to eliminate these really stupid penalties. Even to get through this series, Winnipeg finished this regular season with the #1 power play in the NHL. You're playing with fire, and I think the Stars have a great penalty kill, and it really showed tonight as well.
Yeah, I mean, that Winnipeg power play wasn't great in the first round, but, Dallas, it seems like those penalties are always coming from the veterans, too. The stupid penalties are coming from the guys that should know better and should be playing better.
You'll see Matt Duchene take one here and there. I have such a bone to pick with Mason Marchment, who it feels like every Stars game I watch, Mason Marchment is in the penalty box at least once or twice.
Yeah.
And it's always like he's gotten that kind of reputation that he gets calls pretty easily. I didn't think his penalty tonight was as egregious as some of the others have been in the past, but I'd still like to see him not take it, especially with his history. Look, I love you, Mush. I think you're a great player, but you are not good enough to warrant taking a 2-minute minor every night. I'm trying to pull it up. His game log, he had 2 penalty minutes. Actually, he went 3 games before this without a penalty, so bite my tongue a little bit.
That's good.
But he did have a penalty in the 4-0 loss in Game 5, and then another one tonight. It's a lot of penalty minutes, and it's always in bad times, and you really are playing with fire come playoff time. You can control 5-on-5 play, but it goes out the window when you're just giving Winnipeg opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. It kind of dials back. I don't know if you watched the game before this. Toronto and Florida played their game 2 this evening as well. Florida gave Toronto 3 power plays in the first period, and we can make fun of the Maple Leafs as much as possible. But if you're going to give a talented NHL roster 3 power plays in the first period, you're going to get bit.
Yeah.
The Stars got really lucky. It didn't cost them the game tonight.
Yeah.
Really good. Do you have any more thoughts on kind of going through that game at all?
I mean, I just think you nailed it. They got very, very lucky that they didn't give up any special teams goals, that nothing came back to bite them. Even I think it was the third period, they had a power play going, and then I forget who it was, but somebody took a penalty and it turned into 4-on-4. And I was like,
it was Rupe in the corner who got the coincidental minors first. And then Sagan off the face-off, playing the side that he normally doesn't, just clips Neal P.
That can't happen. I mean,
it comes back to what you said. That's a veteran player in a huge moment in the game. There's not much time left. Let me pull that up. At the 15-minute mark left in the third. Yeah, there's still a lot of time left, but
it's a one goal.
It's about you're handing them a power play in the third period. And even the announcers said, you got really lucky you didn't break skin there, because he got him directly with the toe of the stick right underneath the eye. He's lucky he didn't get 4.
Yeah.
And if that's a double minor, we might be talking about this game completely differently.
Yeah. Could have gone to overtime. Could have been a loss, honestly. I mean, thank God there was no blood. Let's put it that way.
Yes. Sagan got really, really lucky, and Sagan got extremely lucky that I think the Stars penalty kill was dialed in tonight. I think the just everything on the defensive end of the puck. Pete Zabor has gotten a lot of recognition for kind of igniting Dallas as a more offensively minded team, especially after the godforsaken Rick Bowness years in Dallas, where it was, we're going to try to win games like Martin Brodeurs and net. Pete really opened up the offense, but then you watch a game like this and realize, oh, he's a defensive mastermind. They're playing a similar style, kind of similar to a trap, but they really did a good job of clogging that neutral zone. They talked about it quite a bit on the broadcast. The Jets were having a lot of trouble even getting into the Stars zone with possession.
Yeah, the defense has been good throughout the playoffs, and you wouldn't think that with missing Miro Heiskanen obviously, but like the injuries that they've gone through and the lack of continuity, I'll put it as is what they've had on the back end all season, just filling in new guys in there. I think it helps that Bischel is playing as well as he has and as big as he is. And I think it also helps that Petrovic had that experience not only last year when he came in, but in other stops in the NHL, and is still one of those huge, big body guys back there that can allow them to play a physical game on the back end.
Yeah, no, it's
shut things down.
In a time without Heiskanen, having Alex Petrovic as your number 7 defenseman, who's been able to really slide into that role as well as he has, especially because I think it's safe to say now the Matt Dumba thing in Dallas did not pan out the way that it could have gone on the higher end. But, I kind of mentioned earlier, I'm a Leafs fan outside of the Stars. The Stars have 2 former Leafs on their back end, in Ilya Lyubushkin and Cody Ceci. And I've seen some good play from those guys, and I've seen some, oh no, they're on the ice again play more often than not, especially with Cody Ceci. So the fact that I actually think they're getting good, solid minutes out of Cody Ceci is like, just give him the cup. Like, it's obviously some type of magic fountain of youth here in Dallas where we're just getting mediocre defensemen and turning them good. Ilya Lyubushkin is one of my, weird guilty pleasure. I love this player so much because it's like a warm blanket when he's on the ice. He's not doing anything remotely interesting ever, but I don't notice him that much. So I love Lyubushkin. I really do.
He's a solid defensive player, and that's what he's here for.
Do not give him the puck. Do not give him the puck whatsoever.
I mean, I remember looking at his offensive stats when they signed him, and I was like, what do they see in this guy? But he's played very well defensively. And he's
especially, I think he complements players like Miro Heiskanen so well. And I'm going to bring it back to just a team that I watch a lot of. He was paired with Morgan Rielly with the Toronto Maple Leafs, and he does really well being paired with these high-flying defensemen because he will do the polar opposite. You can have Miro Heiskanen up the ice doing whatever Miro Heiskanen can do, skating 85 miles a game, doing whatever he does. And Bush is going to make sure that it doesn't come back to bite them because of how defensively responsible he is. Yeah. They're getting really good.
Unfortunately, he was the one that got beat on that Niederreiter goal.
He did. But, I mean, I don't blame him on it as much.
No.
It was just a perfectly placed shot. I mean, you could say, I wish Lyubushkin smothered that play a little bit better. I also wish Jake could have saved it. Some are going to happen. I think he was great outside of that. Quality minutes from everyone on the Stars back end. There's really no bad spots. Esa Lindell is another player that just you don't notice that much while watching until you realize, oh, he's over 20 minutes already, and nothing's happening while he's on the ice.
Yeah, he's an unsung hero for the Stars on that back end. He's one of the most consistent defensemen that you will find. Again, he's not a guy he's going to put up huge offensive numbers. He's had some pretty good offensive years in the past, but he's one of the most consistent defenders in the NHL, and he was getting a lot of credit and talk about that after the Four Nations tournament. We talk about how well Thomas Harley played in those games. Esa Lindell got a lot of attention too, just for different reasons, and they both deserved it very much, and they're playing like they did then now.
The craziest thing about this conversation is we made it that far into talking about Stars defensemen before bringing up Golden Boy back there and Thomas Harley, who is just the fact that the Stars have this core and at the top of it have Harley and Heiskanen both looking like they're going to be here for a long, long time. The Stars are in such a good spot on the back end. And we're not even talking about probably the most complete forward core from top to bottom in the NHL. This is a special roster. And I'm saying this to Stars fans. This is the best team in DFW.
Yes.
By far.
Yes.
To get you a championship. all the other teams are kind of falling off quite a bit, you know.
Yeah. Cowboys fans, George Pickens is not winning you a Super Bowl. Sorry.
No, he's not winning you a Super Bowl, but Mikko Rantanen might win you a Stanley Cup.
Win you a cup. Yep.
Yeah, we're having that conversation of now I'm not saying I expect him to have a hat trick next game, though if he does, he's getting a statue in Victory Plaza somewhere. They're going to build him one before they're going
to run out of room if they keep giving out those, but yeah.
Yes, yeah. He's already cemented himself in Stars folklore through these last 3 games. And
the crazy thing is, I mean, he's younger than I am, first of all, which is nuts to think about.
Wild.
And he's here for the. I mean, I'm not young by any means anymore, but that's crazy to think about just personally. And then they have him for another 8 years, and he's not even 30 yet.
Yeah, and you could take that conversation and steer it towards most of the Stars roster.
Oh,
they really are locked up long term. This team is here to stay. I don't think Jim Neal is going to win GM of the Year award just because I don't think they're going to give it to the same guy 3 years in a row. But
it's a fair argument.
He probably deserves it.
Yes, he does.
Like Stars fans, I love Logan Stankoven. I really did. I don't miss Logan Stankoven. I see him doing well in Carolina. I'm like, good for him. We got Mikko Rantanen.
Yeah.
He gets it. We get it. Such a brilliant move by Jim Neal, and kind of really completing this roster, getting them the elite player that I think the Stars were lacking on the, in the forward way. I mean, we have Rupe Hintz, but I wouldn't call Rupe Hintz. Yes, he's a very good player. He's a very elite player, but I wouldn't call him superstar the way that Rantanen is.
Mm-hmm.
And Rantanen's done a very good job of eliminating that conversation of, is he a byproduct of Nathan MacKinnon? No, not at all. Mikko Rantanen is a special player. And I think we're going to learn that 8x12 deal it was. We're going to be really happy with that over the next few years.
Looks like
I don't care what it looks like in year 8. I don't care. But I think we got him at a steal.
He's never going to have a game where he doesn't score again. I mean, at this rate,
this rate, we said it here first. Texas Hockey Podcast, we said it here first. Mikko Rantanen will not have another game without a goal ever again. He won't. He's such a special player.
I'm gonna get dragged over the coals for that one.
You are. If they lose this series in 5, they're gonna come find us. The Stars.
Yeah. It is.
You just hear banging on your door, and Victor E. Green is just slamming your door. Like, it's your fault.
I could pay him off.
Yeah. He's cool. But excellent game. The Stars take a 1-0 series lead, which is, I know you can make the argument for every game in the series is the most important in the NHL playoffs, but game 1 really is. Starting off on a positive foot, you won game 1 in Winnipeg. You made a really, really good point in there that we stole a game in their building to start the series.
Well, and then on that, though, it's kind of been good luck losing game 1, hasn't it? Because
we completely. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes,
they were 0 for the last 8. I mean, you lost 2 series in there, but you also
this is their first time they won game 1. Since the 2020 Cup final.
And I mean,
wild.
You look at that Tampa team. Tampa was obviously winning that series, but it's like, is it really a good thing that they won? You gotta wonder. Like, yes, sure.
The most meaningless game 1. Yeah.
On paper and like logically, it's a good thing, but historically,
it didn't matter.
It's a little different. But I think it gives them momentum for the rest of this, or at least going into the next game.
We're in very unfamiliar territory right now. We have not had a 1-0 series lead in years.
Let's put it this way: they can't come home trailing the series, so that's a huge advantage.
And if I would have said to you yesterday, we're going to come back to Dallas on Sunday with a 1-1 series, you'd be ecstatic. And we have the opportunity right now to come home with a 2-0.
You might also think it was game 2 that you'd win, but
Yeah, the fact we got game one on the road, that's a hard game to win. Both teams really came off an emotional end to game seven. Winnipeg getting 1.6 left on the clock. The Stars having their miraculous comeback with Mikko Rantanen. Both teams responded in putting that behind them quite well tonight, but the Stars do come out on top.
How much do you think that played into it, by the way? The whole just both coming off of game seven. I mean, you don't see that happening very much.
These teams were the second. Winnipeg was the last team to finish round one. Dallas was the second to last. They're riding a hot hand, so I think you can take that kind of momentum and the kind of hype you're feeling yourself right now, especially the Stars. Because Winnipeg is a little different. You were 1.6 seconds away from elimination.
Yeah.
Yeah. You got like the Stars. It was more of a log comeback and very different kind of things. Winnipeg got a bounce with 1.6, but nonetheless, you win the series. Doesn't matter how you win. But I think it did play a factor. But I think it's important that the players remembered, and I'm pretty sure they talked about it in the first period. How important it is to just kind of go, that was round one. We're in round two. This is a new series. This is a new opponent. We can't dwell on what happened. Because if Winnipeg dwelled on what happened, they'd be like, I'm afraid that Connor Hellebuck's going to give up 5. And if the Stars were doing that, we'd also be a little afraid of Nathan MacKinnon scored 7 goals in that series against us. We got torched by him a little bit. Yeah. We had to win the rest of the lineup. So did you have any points that you are looking forward to for game 2? Like, kind of what are you looking for a bounce back?
Well, first I'll just add on to what you were saying. That's the message that Pete DeBoer and basically anybody that's talked to the media since that Colorado series ended has conveyed. Like, it's done. That's the series. We're moving forward. Who cares what happened? And that's the right way to go about it. Obviously,
it's 2 months if you win a cup.
Yeah.
It's 2 months.
Game 2, I would say you need Ottinger to play like he did tonight. Against
trust him.
Yep. He's been pretty good for most of the playoffs. So, like you said, he hasn't been Calgary series good, but I mean, anyone rarely is.
Yeah, I think he's given Dallas an opportunity to win in every game this series. And there's been, especially that game 6, the Stars did not earn an opportunity to win that, and Jake gave it to them.
Yeah.
They ended up losing, but they were in that game. So he's been fantastic. And I think you're right. We really do need to see his play continue going forward.
Yeah. And I think you need fewer stupid penalties, obviously. And then the last one I would say is you need more consistency on the offensive end. Like there were a lot of pucks on the net and everything, but you look at the box score, Mikko Rantanen's got 5. Consistency might not be the right word. Now that I think about this, but you need more sources of scoring. Like Rantanen can't score every goal. Rantanen's got 5 shots in the box score. Rupa Hintz has 3, and then everybody else has 1 or 2 shots. You need more people getting the puck on the net.
Contributing. Yeah. No, I think other than a few flashes, Wyatt Johnson's had a quiet playoff. Yeah. Which is crazy to think that he's still doing as well as he is, but it has been a little bit quieter. They really need scoring from throughout their lineup, because as much as we can sit here and talk about how great Mikko Rantanen is, we need Sagan to step up a little bit more. We need Duchesne to step up. We need Ben to kind of fall into his role and get some goals from across the lineup. Mikhail Granlund, I think, is going to drive me nuts by the end of the series, because I think like 3 times a night, it's like, oh, he's going to do it. Oh, it's right in the glove. Again, like just the lack of finish from him. I love the way that first line's playing.
Absolutely.
But to get some finish from across the lineup would be huge. We can't rely, because at some point they're going to figure out how to stop him. Mm-hmm. Don't tell him that, but you're going to figure out how to he's going to come back down to the mean at some point. And when that happens, we need everyone to be firing on all cylinders. What I think might help with that, and a positive, Robertson is going to get more comfortable as this series evolves. I expect him to have a much better game 2 than we saw him in game 1.
Yeah, I mean, you look at how he was playing when he came back from that preseason injury. He took a
Yeah.
while to get back loaded up. That's unfortunately what's going to take. It's going to take this time again. That's just the way
Yeah.
injuries are.
He had a very up and down season, but
Mhm.
is as iffy as that can be, he's proven that he can bounce back from times like this.
Yeah,
And it's Jason Robertson. He's gonna pot a few if you just give him enough games to do it in. And as he kind of evolves in the series, and it feels like every day we're getting closer to Miro Heiskanen getting in the lineup. I'm hoping it's game 2. From you're in the locker room, on occasion. Have you gotten impressions of where we feel like we're at with this at all, or are they kind of
they
hush hush?
they keep that very close to the vest. We ask, and he's just like, yep, he's close. We don't know when, but he's close, and that's
So
pretty
I
much
know
all that
as
you
much
get.
as
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the people
yeah.
in the room know. Yeah.
Basically, he. I mean, there was a possibility that he was going to play tonight. From what I gathered, not no, nobody said that he was going to play, but like after the
Nobody
Colorado
knows.
series, they mentioned the possibility of him playing in this series, and everybody speculated that it was going to be game 1. I don't
Mhm.
personally know where he's at right now, so it's hard for me to say exactly. It wouldn't surprise me if they picked a home game to throw him back in just to get the fans riled up. So I'm
That's what I'm
eyeing
thinking.
game
It
3 at that.
especially
Yeah.
I don't know how much it plays into the decision making, and I doubt it plays any effect, but I'm expecting a quieter ACC environment on Sunday. It's a 4 p.m. start on a Sunday. It's not going to be as rowdy as those Saturday night games. Having Miro Heiskanen in the building, though, for the first time in the playoffs might really give him that little push to get over the hump in the building. And getting Miro Heiskanen on the lineup is a
I
must.
mean, Stars fans will surprise you. I wouldn't be surprised if that arena is actually still rocking as much as it usually does on Sunday, to be honest. It's
Yeah, it's spend your Mother's Day.
yeah,
Get your moms, head to the arena. Pregame it a little bit. Have a great time. We need that building as loud as possible come Sunday. Winnipeg can show us their fancy whiteout and all of that in game 1 and 2, and that's great. Let's show them what Texas hockey is made of come Sunday. And let's make this series short and sweet. Is what I
that'd
want to
be
see.
nice.
Yeah. Did we really have much more we wanted to kind of go over for the first episode?
Did we want to talk about like briefly look at the other series, touch on the other series? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Let's kind of see what's going on around the NHL real quick before we go. Like I touched on, Toronto has gone up 2-0 on
That's
the Florida
huge.
Panthers, and the Leafs are close to my heart. It is the longest playoff run of the Matthews tenure now. We finally got to win number 6, but huge for the Leafs to come out of game 2, getting both on home ice. In both of those games, Florida tied the game in the third period, and within 20 seconds, the Leafs got their lead back. This is a very different Leafs team than what we've seen in years past. And then we have Carolina beat Washington, correct? They're up 1-0. I believe they play
Yeah.
tomorrow. And then Edmonton gets a 1-0 series lead against the Vegas Golden Knights. Zach Hyman pots a late goal. Underrated player. Watch Oilers hockey. You're going to see a lot of Zach Hyman. Gets Edmonton important 1-0 series lead, and that's a series we should be keeping an eye on in kind of the Stars fandom. That's going to be our opponent next round.
Yeah.
Scope them out, do some scouting. And neither of those opponents you want to play.
Neither of them are teams that Stars fans are okay with either. Given the past 2 years,
I was there for a game in that Vegas series, and that was Stars fans do not like Mark Stone.
No, they do not.
No, they do not. No, not at all.
He's the reason for everything bad in the world, if you ask a Stars fan.
Yes, especially I completely forgot he was the guy that took out Miro. Yeah, so
he's also the guy that Jamie Benn got suspended for on the cross check, I believe. So
Yes, he was.
a lot of reasons to not
Expect
like him
that
around here.
series to be nasty if it's Vegas, but don't expect it to be easier if it's the Oilers coming to
No,
Texas.
you
That
saw
won't
that
be an
last
easy
year.
series.
I think they thought it was going to be easier when they were playing Edmonton last year.
Yeah, I did too. I really thought that the Stars were going to come out of that series a lot better than they did. But I think the Stars are the best team in the West.
Yeah.
I do. I think they took out, the clear competition for that in the Avalanche. I think the Jets are in that top 3 conversation. And from what I saw tonight, the Stars have I'm not going to say they are, but they have the ability to be the better team in the series.
I had them in the Cup Finals in my preseason prediction, and I have not backed off.
No, it was, unfortunately, I really overestimated how much the Robertson injury would affect the Stars. And I picked Colorado to go to the Cup final, and I'm really regretting that. My bracket has not
This
done
wasn't
well
bracket-wise. This was before the season even started. Yes. Yeah.
Oh, so
yeah.
you got this dead on. Yeah. So yeah, absolutely great start to the series for the Stars. Did we have anything else we kind of wanted to go on? Or?
I don't think so. I think that was pretty much it.
Yeah, so we will be back sometime after game 2. We're going to get one of these episodes out for you after every single Stars playoff game. Hopefully we get more episodes. Let's keep this
We're
rocking.
Going to be with you throughout the playoffs.
I want to be doing episodes in June. Yeah. I want to be talking Stars hockey in June. So let's make it happen.
That'd be nice. I mean, I was at the Rangers World Series parade a couple years ago when they won the World Series. That was crazy. I think this is going to end up even crazier if they take home a cup.
Yes. I've never been to a championship parade. This is my opportunity to go to a championship parade.
It took me 2 hours to get out of my parking space. 2 hours.
Okay, so I might rethink how that's going to work, but it'd be really cool to be in the city when there's a championship parade going on. But I want to thank everyone who kind of listened and got through the episode. Thank you for tuning in to the first edition of the Texas Hockey Podcast. My name is Trevor Neal. This has been Travis Tyler, and thank you very much for watching.